Gamers, welcome. In this video, I am going to talk about a game called Dune Spice World. Now, this game is a 4S game with a little bit of RTS mechanic. Now, I am not a huge fan of Dune. Yes, I watched the first movie. I think it was, a pretty decent movie. I enjoy it. But I never really read, the books, and so I'm new. Now, let's talk about the graphics of this game. I think it was actually pretty decent. I don't think it was amazing. I don't think it was bad. Yes, there is, you're gonna see a little bit of low resolution, but I don't think it was that bad. Although I like a little bit of aesthetic, especially of the main characters as you play. So, not that bad. What about the sound? I think it sounds, alright. Nothing really special here. What about the music? I actually really enjoy the music. I like the theme and the main, sound of the game. I like, the other ones when you play, the music, the ambient music. I actually enjoy that. And when you play faction, every faction has a specific music. Now gonna hear the regular music of the game, but every faction has a unique music, like a theme, and I actually really enjoy it. I really enjoy the music in the game. Now, what about the voice acting? So there is not a lot of voice acting in the game. There is everything that is actually pretty good, but there's not a lot. But what it is actually pretty decent. I think it's pretty good. What about the main story? If there is actually a main story, so there's not like a proper main story, like a lot, single player game. But there is actually a reason why you're doing what you're doing. It's because of the spice. Although, they don't really go really specific, but there is a little bit of content, So I don't know. It really depends who you ask. Some people may not enjoy it just because there is so little, but you know, it's a little bit. So before I go into the gameplay, I'm going to talk about few things. So in this game, you play different factions. Every factions have different unit, other stuff. So what you may expect. Now this game has three main game modes. It has duel. So this is a pretty fast, kind of skirmish, but you actually only play one versus one. So two players. You got your regular skirmish. It can be more of two, so up to four. And you can actually, the map is a little bigger. You can actually customize the map a little bit, so you can make the map a little bigger, small, and other stuff. And you got conquest. Now the mode conquest is actually pretty interesting game mode, because I would say this is like the campaign. You know what I mean? Because in this one you actually have like an overworld map, and you need to conquer the zone. And every time that you conquer the zone, you will actually have like a perks. And it works more like a story. But here you not actually use all the factions. You only use like 5 of them. So because the game has more than 5 factions, but in skirmish you can use all of them. In here you can already use in the game conquest, so you can already use like 4 of them. So there is like I said, a little bit more content when it comes to a story, but it's not a full main story, but it has a little bit more of that, if you know what I mean. So not it's actually pretty fun game mode, just because yes, you're gonna do like skirmishes, but they have different um like side content, like side missions in a mode. So I think that's actually pretty fun, and they changed a little bit. It's actually not that bad. They changed the way that you can win. You may not maybe use some unit, so I think it was pretty nice. Now they actually, so this game mode is a little more longer, just because you need to fight different skirmishes. It's not just one, so it's up to 8. So it will take you probably like 10 hours to complete the game of conquest. But I think it's actually pretty nice. So I have no problem with that. So now let's talk about the gameplay. So if you see the game, I show you the game, you might think this game is a forest game, something like Civilization, and you may not be wrong, right? Because it looks like that, but it plays a little different when it comes to the gameplay. But I want to start with a really basic. So you see, you got resource like any type of this type of game, right? You got gold, you got water, is your food, and you got your manpower. So your unit, how many you can prove. You actually have plates, you have the spice, so and you got scrap. So this really basic stuff. Now, like any forest game, you go session of zone and you conquer the village. Now, one thing that you're going to see on this game is it's not like something like Civilization. So when it comes to the gameplay, how the character move is going to be more like a RTS, because you actually can see it's like real time, like not turn. It looks like a real, RTS, and you actually can select every unit that you actually see. So let's say that you have 3 ranger and 2 soldier. You actually can pick every unit at such a position. So if you play something like Civilization or you're familiar, it actually you can play like that. But when you attack a village, of you actually can loot the village, or you just can conquer or liberate if another faction has the zone control. So really, really, really similar. Your job is to conquer as much as you can, and every time that you conquer a village, you actually can customize a little bit. You create different structure in that village that you actually conquer. Every faction has a little bit of uniqueness, and not just that, you actually depends of the land, because there is some land that is actually called special. And what it is some land will give you more gold, maybe more water, or you actually can craft different structure. So some structure will be unique for a land. So I think that that is actually pretty cool, because it creates more a little bit more strategy, and makes you to prioritize, to put effort in more areas. More areas are more important. Sometimes, it depends, but of course you want to target those, that you may think it will be more important to you. So, and I think the game does a pretty good job, because you can actually zoom out, of the map, so you can see the upper top of the map. And I think it's pretty nice, because you can see of the region where it's actually really happening. So I actually really enjoy it, of that. Now, what about the combat side of the game? But let's talk about the combat. So this is not something like Civilization. It's not. It's more like I said before, like a RTS. You actually see them moving real time. It's not like turn. You can actually move your unit different position. You can give it commands. You can pick, choose a specific unit and move it. So you can actually ambush enemies if you really want. So it's pretty. I don't say it's amazing, but I think it's actually pretty cool, because a lot of this game they don't really do this, right? For this game they don't try to do this. Here is actually like real time. It's not really turn based. It's not really nothing of that stuff that you used to for this type of game. So actually think it's pretty cool. Now every faction has unique unit, like really unique unit. You actually can give modification for this unit. Now it's not like upgrade. I would not say it's like upgrade. I will say more like modification. Like you can give them like different passive to support for each of the basic unit, and you choose between two of those four. Now every faction has a unique champion, and there's only two champions per faction, but you only choose one. And these actually heroes, they actually use ability. Now you need to activate yourself, but they actually have a special, ability. So I think the combat is actually pretty nice. I actually really enjoy it. It reminds me, like I said before, something like RTS. So I think it's actually pretty nice. You can actually have like two small armies and start conquering, just because it allows you to do that. So I actually really enjoy it, and it's pretty easy to understand the gameplay. It really is. But let's talk about other stuff, because there is a lot to talk about. Now I already say a little bit of your village, when you conquer, but you actually have a base, and you can upgrade your base with different perks, different passive. This is something pretty, I would say, pretty common. Another thing, before I forget, every when you choose a faction, then you have a main character. You actually have two more characters you can pick. Like your console. That's how they call it. Just follow them. You choose two, and basically they just has different perks, different passes. So some of them are pretty different. That will change the way that you can play. So then they're just more basic, but you can see what the specific gameplay they actually trying to like play. um I think it's alright. So there's other stuff. Now let's talk about science. So science, I would say, is more like technology. Now there's actually four types of technology. um Depends of the faction that you choose, will be a little different because they share similar perks, but every faction has their own unique. It's between, I would say, like 4 or 5 unique technology that you can actually choose, but this will take time. You can have one in progress when I think it's like 3 of them wait for the queue. So at this will change. Some of them will give you access to more unit. Some will give you more, it will make you access to different structure. So it really, depends. So I think, I think it's not amazing, but it's a pretty basic, stuff. Now another thing that you have actually is espionage. Now I wish the game will explain you more a little bit of what is espionage, but you actually can have like angels, like not angel, like angel, like people, like more like a secret service, and you can select these characters, and they will help you outside of the field. So in the map you will explore, and you will find like containers. You will find stuff in the world, and they will actually help you to do research. And you actually, there's different sections, but they actually have like passive, and you actually can select doing missions. So you need document missions are like active, so you can send like strikes, you can send MVP bombs, you can scout the enemy. So I would say they work more like a spell if you play like a magical game, like that. So just active. So they actually pretty nice. So now another thing that the game has is economic. So there is actually, you pay taxes or whatever, but it's actually like a stock market. It really, you can buy shares or sell shares. So if you start a war, it's going to rise up, the shares. So you to buy it, but it will low, the shares if you want to sell it. There's a lot of strategy because you can actually win. So if you actually own 50% of the shares or the shares, because it has a name, but let's say the stock market, 50%, you win the game if you own 50% of that. So there's actually multiple ways that you actually can win. Assassinating the players is actually one of them, and destroying the base is actually one of them. It's different. You actually can become the governor and win the game for 30 days. If you stay for governor for 30 days, you actually can win. You actually can be. My favorite is like harmony. So this is just power. It takes more time to win in this condition, but it's my favorite one because it takes just way more time and you can become, it's about power. So you don't need to do you don't need to destroy nothing. You need to do a lot of things with this one. You need to have a big army. You need to conquer. You need to have a lot of the share, the stock market. So I actually really like that. Now I already say you can buy stuff, you can sell stuff, but you actually can trade with other faction. Now this part of the gameplay I actually not really enjoy it, and there's only one main reason. It's really bare bones. So what I say with this is like you can trade with them and they become like allies with you, but you can make like a plan to sabotage the enemy. You know what I mean? You just trade, and actually you can trade with your like enemies. Well, unless you're not involved with them, but you know what, so you can trade and be in an ally. Like having an ally is not really a big difference. I wish it would have more. And if you're against them, like really like enemy, and even that is not like there's no assistant in the game that will tell you, hey, you're like the enemy. You are just you're not an ally with them. So I think this lack, depth, because I feel like if you actually are an ally, you should get like more bonuses. I feel like you should do a little bit more, and in that reward, it's pretty that because you can join them, like to attack, and there's other stuff that I wish the game would have when it comes, to this. But you can actually do trades and other stuff with, allies. But the politics, that on that side is not really amazing. Now, you actually have politics. Like I said before, you actually can win if you become governor for 30 days. But another thing is there is a vote system for, so every 30 days there's gonna be a vote system. So it's like the elections, and they'll give you different perks or bonuses depending on how you see it. But it will change the game. For example, you can increase. They're random first, so they'll follow them and they're random. And how this works is they do different stuff. They may increase the taxes or they may decrease, someone's power, but you choose who you want to have that perk. So you can vote for you, or you can vote so the enemy has that perk or that bonus or that debuff or whatever. I think it's actually pretty fun. It will change. You can be winning, but if they choose to screw you over, they can actually do it the other way around. So I actually really find this mechanic pretty dynamic. I would say I would like to have more effects just because I actually really enjoy it. But you need both to both to make it happen. So you just explore the map and that about it. But you need to have influence. It's politics, and I actually really enjoy it. And there's actually another stuff in the top. You can actually become, like I said before, governor, but it's like positions in the government. You can be the counselor, or you can be the eyewitness, or you can be this and that. And I never really mess around with that just because I don't like politics. But I think it's actually pretty fun that you can be the governor for 30 days and win the game. So pretty fun stuff, So it takes a little bit, used to it. With that, because I would say the game is actually easy to learn, but I would say with that system of the politicians, you should play the tutorial so you can actually learn That's the only thing that you do not, understand in the beginning, but then I understand it. I just don't really, mess too much with that, just because I don't know. It's not really my type of, gameplay. Now, what about the factions? If they play differently, I say yes. I would speak a little bit. So, some of them, or they have a pretty good early game, like the Baron is the red ones. These actually have a pretty good early game. But someone like the thief, they actually are more like later game, and the freeman, they're like just scavengers. They're more like late game. So now the map, I already say it, pretty decent, but there's actually harsels. Like there's a storm, there's worms, other stuff. I think the game actually is pretty nice. I really enjoyed my time with with the game. I had not really a lot of complaint. Only they actually forget to mention in the beginning. Uh, this game can be really lagging. The more you increase your army, it becomes a little more lagging. Like now, I'm playing on the Xbox. Maybe this is not an issue in you know in the PC, but at least in the Xbox, it's an issue. Like you're gonna see, that the game has, not the game, the console has problem running the game when there's a lot of stuff, happening, and it happens a lot. So it's not really stable. Now I never really play online, so I can't really speak about online because I never really play it. I be still having problem with my Xbox. I know allow me to play. I don't know what the hell is happening, but there is actually multiplayer in the game. Now I don't know how good it runs just because I never really tried it, but there is. Now I think this game is actually easy to get into it. Yes, I do think it's actually a pretty easy game to get into it. Now how hard it is, it's actually pretty easy. Now I suggest you to play a little higher difficulty just because it's actually pretty easy and the computer is not really engaged too much with you. They are not going to attack and they're gonna make stupid mistake because it's on easy. So I think normal is the, I would say, like perfect, you know, difficult, just because I think it's a well balanced. Now, if you want to play on hard or insane, that's fine. But I think normal is it's a pretty you know good to start playing the game. Do I do recommend the game? Yes, I do. Why? Well, first, it's a pretty easy game to get into it. So I think that's one of the reasons. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to understand. So that's one of them. Another reason is the gameplay because it's quite differently. So I actually recommend it more than are typical for the escape because it's actually quite differently. Now you need to know about Dune to play this game? No. Like I said before, I'm not a huge fan. I watched the first movie, and that was about it. And I watched it in for a trip. I was in a trip, and I watched it in the airplane. So I actually never really watched the movie. So I still actually enjoy it now. So like I say, I don't know nothing about the series. So I don't know if they mention characters, other stuff. So I don't know, nothing. And I still actually enjoy the game. So if you are a fan of a new series, you should play it. If you're a fan of for this game, this type of games, you should play it. So I actually play it on the Xbox. I play it for free because of the Game Pass. So it's a fun game. Try it. I don't think it's going to hurt. I think you're probably gonna enjoy it. Especially probably the gameplay. So if you like RTS game, it's kind of similar. So yeah. So like always, thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a good time and bless you all. Peace.